Three, two, one, let's go. Hello and welcome to week 27, I want to say, of the FDT-TV podcast. I'm Ian.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Phil.
And we are back, obviously, international break this week. I've not been enjoying it, but then again, FIFA's come out, so it's not all bad.
Who enjoys international breaks, eh?
Yeah, so we've had two games so far with England playing a friendly against Wales, who are missing Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale, and we've had a Nations League game against Belgium, and we've got one coming up on Wednesday against Denmark. So we're currently topping the group because we beat Belgium. So out of those two games, should we try and pick out one good thing and one bad?
We didn't lose.
Yeah.
We didn't lose, so that's one. Phil's one bad. Mike, have you got a bad?
No, I don't think.
I
Should have scored more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was gonna be my bad. I think we were lucky against Belgium because we should have scored more, and we certainly should have scored more against Wales. And what about one good? You started off, Phil, so why not? One good.
As bad as this is going to hurt me, but Calvert-Lewin is coming on and carrying his goal scoring record on and getting his first goal for England. Yeah,
yep.
Really promising.
Very good. Mike?
I was going to say debut goals for Calvert-Lewin, Cody and Danny Ings with his overhead kick.
You've stolen mine. That was free, but mine, yeah, that overhead kick was good, wasn't it? It was good. Hopefully more of the same. Moving on with next week. Obviously no VAR decisions this week because VAR isn't in international games, which is good. We do have a couple of things. Should we get on to transfers? Obviously, window's now shut. We were recording in the last bit of the thing. Sorry, someone's just making hand signals at me, and I don't know what they were. So we were recording in the last couple of hours of the transfer window for last week. Apologies if you are a video. You take it in by a video because it all went a little bit peaked on. But Phil, any transfer news since last episode? Because we've still got the window open for English clubs.
We're still sniffing around a goalkeeper. I think it's Jack Butland potentially coming up our way, but that's about it for us. Doors closed.
Fair enough. Mike?
Very abrupt. Thomas Partey come in.
Yep.
Into the club. It was a last minute deal. It was one that had been rumoured about for the whole of the transfer window, and we managed to get it over the line on the last day. It went right up to the wire, but apparently managed to get all the paperwork in. So he is now an Arsenal player.
Fair enough.
Very much looking forward to seeing him as well.
Well, we have brought in today Craig Dawson from Watford on a season-long loan. Questionable, if you ask me, considering when we was looking at Tarkowski. Is Craig Dawson the same calibre? No, he's not. And also, a bit more positive, Ben Rama from Brentford.
Yes.
Allegedly, has been a £30 million deal agreed. A lot of that is add-ons. And he's meant to be having a medical on Wednesday, but there is some doubt now as to whether that's happening. And we also have had a bid for Josh King rejected, but allegedly we're going back with a bigger bid. So I would like to see those two come off because I think that would give us a bit more guile up front, especially with Felipe Anderson leaving on loan. But that's all the transfer news for West Ham at the moment.
Busy though for you.
It is busy. I just feel like, why didn't we do this in the couple of weeks before we started playing games again?
Yeah.
Why have we left it till now?
And to be sensible.
I think personally, like the £30 million bid is so jacked up on add-ons and stuff. It's so they can say, well, at least we tried. Rather than.
Is this going to be like performance-related bonuses?
Yeah, and knowing like David Gold's stuff, it's going to be like, oh, you need to have gone to the moon, and you need to have played 170 games a season. And it's unrealistic things.
And not get injured. And
Yeah.
score 3 goals every game.
Jack Wilshere's gone.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
another out.
gone now.
He's gone, yeah.
Wow.
So seemingly not all. He's been fit allegedly for the last year, and just not played.
Thinking tweet, didn't he? When
He
left.
So seemingly he's had a falling out with the management and the owners. Don't know which way round it come first, but to be a fly on the wall. I don't think we're ever going to get a straight story out of anyone there.
I did say some tweets. Just kind of tenuous link there. You can follow us on Twitter at the names below or above, somewhere around us. But yeah, there was rumours touting about that potentially Jack Wilshere might come back to Arsenal for one season. I doubt it will happen. It's never going to happen.
It'd be an odd one. If it did happen, that would be a very odd one.
Yes.
Probably get goal of the season, though. Always did, didn't he?
That belter against Norwich, mate.
So, in light of VAR not being on this week, there has been an announcement, which is big picture. So, do you know about it, or do you want me to summarise?
Please summarise it for the benefit of the viewers.
So in summary, the Liverpool owners have come up with this big picture thing, which has been backed by one club, which is Manchester United. And what they're saying is that the structure of the Premier League should change. 2 teams should go down automatically, and 2 Championship teams should come up automatically. And then I think it's 17th and 16th have a playoff, a bit like in the German league, as to who goes down.
It's the third team who would go down in the Premier League, then plays, I think, 2 or 3 people from the Championship for the final Premiership place.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird.
Yeah, so it's very much set up like the German league is, but essentially it takes, because at the moment you need a majority of 17 clubs, I think it is, in the Premier League to make a decision or change the rules or something like that. What they're then saying is the big 6 teams, being Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham and Man City, and the 3 longest serving Premier League clubs in West Ham, Newcastle and Everton will get the votes. The FA don't get a vote, and neither do any other clubs, and they get a lot more revenue from it. Those clubs do. It scraps parachute payments, it scraps funding for grassroots, it scraps lots of things.
The EFL Cup, Community Shield.
Yeah, so the Community Shield's gone, the League Cup's gone. So it's a ridiculous thing. It's never going to happen. But it's rich people wanting to get richer.
Yeah,
essentially.
That's ridiculous. No, I'm against that, definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When I say the big 6 clubs, when you look at an all-time Premier League table, Manchester City are not in the top 6. They're 7th. So are they? But they are. Are they a big 6 club? When you look at it overall, Everton are above them. So Man City are not a big 6 club. Yes, all right. In the last 10 years, they've done really well. But before that, they've been absolutely shocking. They would have been out of 15th if they hadn't been taken over. They wouldn't have been a big 6 club.
They wouldn't be in the Premier League, would they?
No, probably not. But it's one of those things. It's like, well, give power to people with money. It's a bit like financial fair play suits big clubs. It doesn't suit little clubs. But yeah, it's just a case of trying to draw in more money. But I don't think it will work.
It never works. It just makes as you say, it makes the big clubs richer and the poorer clubs poorer.
Yeah.
It makes a vast difference between the two. It gives them more power to then change the game to their own needs.
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%. It's one of those, I think some of the bigger clubs will probably be talked around into, oh, well, you'll get more money. But I think unless they're going to get it through, for publicity reasons, they're all going to be going, we don't want this.
There's only one good thing in there, and that's about funding the lower leagues. They're going to pump in a lot more money.
One payment of £100 million rather than yearly payments of like 50.
The FA.
No,
million to the FA and then 250 million into the actual English football leagues.
Yeah, but that's a one-off payment rather than funding every year. From what I've read, obviously there's not been a complete rundown of the whole policies of what they want to do,
No.
but there are some changes because at the minute, certain amounts of revenue from the Premier League go into grassroots and everything like that every year, and they're saying no, we'll get rid of that and just hit it off in one payment of X amount and be done with it.
Soon be gone.
But the FA have come out with a statement to say we're totally against this. We don't want it to happen. It will ruin English football.
Agreed.
A bit like the
Well,
a bit like Liverpool. No, a bit like the Premier League, charging £15 per match.
I know.
Yes, yeah.
Shocking.
And I wonder why so many people go towards like illegal streaming and stuff like that. I know there's ways that you can get around it now by paying some of these dodgy services, like some of these things you can sign up for, and then they stream because you paid for. I'm not talking about that sort of dodgy streaming.
That's just like careful who you name it, because it's like
hey.
No. There are some places or some websites that you can pay to view it.
Yes.
But yeah, in a way, I kind of like what they're doing because it starts getting money back into football clubs. I don't know how, again, that's going to be distributed between the clubs, because I'm assuming a majority of that is going to be going to whoever's broadcasting the actual fixture. So I don't know how that would work. But at the same time, you're just alienating a lot of people by charging £15 a game. Granted, again, it's cheaper than actually going to buy a ticket, but it's
still too much, isn't it? I think in this current environmental issue or the economic climate that we're in, you wouldn't expect it. I think it's a bit OTT when you're already paying X amount per month to watch football anyway.
Sky, BT Sports, and all that sort of stuff.
Well,
yes, it is a joke.
When you look at they're trying to focus on the English market here, aren't they? Because we're the only ones who don't get 3 o'clock kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that and you look at the people who are going to be buying that, it's all lower. It's from about 7th in the table down. It's not your Manchester United, your Liverpool's, because a lot of those fans, especially United fans, don't come from this country. They are worldwide. And they already get the 3 o'clock kickoff. So why they're not going to pay you £15? The bloke from the blokes from East London are, the blokes from the Midlands are, and they're going to go, I've been out of work for 6 months. I can't afford to pay you £15 a month. If that, or £15 a game.
Yeah, that's a generalisation. We're not actually saying that every Manchester United supporter is a poor person or a person of lower wealth who can't afford subscriptions to stuff. It was just a
generalisation of the current economic situation. Where people
exactly.
I was more trying to get at that. There's a lot of fans worldwide that view the bigger clubs. They've got more of a pull internationally, and those countries already get the 3 o'clock kickoff, so they've got no reason to pay £15 a month or £15 a match.
Well, I know. Certainly, in places like Australia and America, they have literally all of the games. Like companies like Fox Sports and NBC, they have literally every sports game. And do you know what? It does really frustrate me, like even being on holiday and being able to watch a lot more football than you are in the country where the league is. Yeah,
I remember going to Portugal a couple of years ago, and they had every Premier League game on, and it was a day where there was more 3 o'clock kickoffs than there was normally, and every game was on in one place. They had everyone, and it was like, well, I wouldn't be able to do this at home. I watched loads of football that I couldn't watch normally, even if you do go to a pub. But I think they'll miss a trick here because they'll get a couple of people sign up, but not the uptake that they think they will.
Yep.
What they should do is say Now TV is $9.99 for 24 hours access of every Sky Sports channel for 24 hours. It's £11 for the weekend. So what they should do is go, right, even if they did it at £20 a month, I reckon they would do it. You can watch as many as you like, and you don't have to watch them live. You can watch them retrospectively. You can pick and choose which ones you watch.
I'd definitely pay £20 a month for that.
And I think 9 out of 10 people would, even in the current economic climate, people would go, I can find £20 a month. Because it's playing
not £15 a week.
It's less than a Domino's, isn't it?
It's less than a Domino's, but also it's one of those things. The watching of the football gets a lot of people through the week. That's what people look forward to. If I go, I've got to find 4 games or what's that? £60. £60 a month to watch 1 game a weekend. No, I'm all right, thanks.
If you think about it, your Sky Sports and BT Sport, I think if you were to combine the two together, would be less than that.
Yeah.
And you get to watch a lot more sport.
But that encompasses everything, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't it? It does not one 90-minute game.
Yeah.
That I imagine the streaming will be poor on. If it's anything to go by, West Ham streamed a couple of games at the beginning of the season. The first couple of games they streamed were horrendous. They didn't have sound for the first 60 minutes. And like the cameraman was zooming in and zooming out and zooming, and he felt motion sick, and he missed the goals. And if you've paid £15 for that, and that's who it's up to, who's going to refund it? Because they go, well, you watched it. It's like, well, I didn't. I watched part of it because it was unwatchable. So that's a bit that concerns me. Right, rant over.
Ian, can I add on to that?
Of course you can.
Rather than concentrate on the Premier League games where the clubs have got, everyone says, a lot of money and are getting revenue anyway through TV, why not open it up to the lower leagues, Championship and below, where they are struggling for this money, and actually opening it and airing them on streaming services would make a bigger difference. A lot
of them are already doing that.
Yeah.
And it's £9 a game. And it's generally through their own website. And not all, but there are, especially some of the bigger Championship clubs are doing that. Because I've contemplated it a few times, and I know I've seen a couple of League One clubs do it as well. But it's like £9 a game. Do I really want to watch it? Like if it was there, I'd watch it. But I'm not going to pay a tenner.
No atmosphere.
Yeah,
you're at home.
It's not the same. It's not the same as going to a game. Certainly not. And yeah, are you going to be annoyed on a Saturday afternoon when you're absolutely shattered through working all week, and you go and lay down on the settee to watch it, and then you fall asleep? You're going to be annoyed, aren't you, if you paid £15 for that?
Yeah,
that's generally what happens. Yeah, and it won't have the option to be able to rewind live telly, so you can watch where you finished off, or record it and watch it later. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
After Denmark on Wednesday, we do have some Premier League fixtures, which is really good because I prefer Premier League fixtures to England. So we have 3 games, and for this, I will pass over to Mike.
Okay, so we have 3 fixtures this week. I'll give a score update on the internationals. I think once the last fixture has been done, because we've still got the one to go. But Phil, you're currently winning that one at the moment. So the games coming up for the Premier League this weekend, we have Everton versus Liverpool, Manchester City versus Arsenal, and then finally Tottenham versus West Ham United.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game, Everton versus Liverpool. Phil, this is your boys. Both teams. Yeah, let's get your prediction.
Cheers. No, I only support the boys in red in this one. Well, so looking forward to this. The boys are going to be back. We're going to have Thiago back. We're going to have Mane back from their isolations. So we'll probably have a good, strong team. I think Naby Keita is going to be absent, which is not here or there. He's a good little player. But I think there's others that can easily slot in and make a difference as well. So for me, I know it's away, only across the other side of the park, so it's not that far. Again, no atmosphere there, so it's going to be a completely different derby for once. I'm backing the Reds to win a 3-1 on this one. I do think, as good as we are, Everton have been good and they will get a goal, but then they've got a few mistakes in them and they've got a few areas of weaknesses which we can exploit.
Ian, over to you.
Well, behind me, you do see an Everton shirt from when we went up there. we got it wrong because it was ridiculously cheap in the middle of the season. It says 19 on it. Now, I could go with 9-1 to Everton. Because that would I think I'd have a heart attack. I'd be so excited. I don't think it's going to be 9-1 Everton. I do think Everton are going to win. And I've gone polar opposite to Phil. I've gone 3-1 to Everton.
What does your numbers on your shirt say, Mike?
2-1. Well, it depends which one, because you gave me your Everton shirt, didn't want it anymore. So I'm a bit more on the fence with this fixture. I think both teams on their day. Well, we've seen Everton already doing well so far this season. I think they're currently the only team that are undefeated in the league, I believe.
Yeah, I make you
still
correct
on
there.
100% record.
Yep.
Liverpool, we've seen have issues with their higher defensive line. I know Jamie Carragher was praising it against us, but it just shows how easily Liverpool can be defeated with that high line. And we know that Everton do have a bit of pace about them. Not saying that Liverpool don't, but I think for this particular game, I'm going to go for 2-2.
2
in this one.
Very good.
Yeah.
I do have to make you right there. There is a correction. Aston Villa are also undefeated. But they've played a game less. They've only played 3 games.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. The last game, if you missed it, was a 7-2 drumming of Liverpool.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
Did you catch that one, Phil?
Did you enjoy that one, Phil? I did.
No, I don't think we played in that game.
No, you didn't. That was half the problem.
Some imposters did, mate. They turned up in your kit.
Your bogey team,
right,
isn't it?
Moving on, my boys, City against Arsenal. I don't know where to go on this one, because obviously I want to show faith in my boys. I think it may potentially be a bit too soon for Thomas Partey to start. We also have a bit of an issue at the moment with Kieran Tierney being involved in a bit of a COVID scare from the international break. So apparently, or he currently has to self-isolate because he's been in close contact with a number of members of the Scotland team. Although Arsenal are trying to get him removed from that because he has since been tested and has been proven clear. However, we are playing away, and we don't really, or historically, we haven't really travelled well. And it's Arsenal going back, or Mikel Arteta going back to his old stomping ground up in Manchester. I was looking at a bit of a head-to-head over the last couple of years. And one thing I have noticed is that during the league, we don't really tend to fare well against Manchester City. It seems to be in the cup competitions that we do better. So that is why I'm going to put us down as a 2-1 loss to Manchester City.
2-1 loss.
Shocking.
You want to go with this one next, Phil?
Yeah, I really was stumped on this one as well. I had to give some good thought into understanding where this could go, because you've got the forms are completely different. You've got Arsenal on a wave of wins, playing really well and being quite solid and for long periods of the game. And you've got an organised manager who's going back against his previous employers. And you've got Man City, who have been a bit ropey of late. They've not played to their best and been held to losses and draws. So for me, I'm going to be on the fence and go for a 1-1 draw.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've gone a slightly different, along the similar sort of lines to Phil. I think Arteta knows that squad very well. There's a few new defenders in here he won't necessarily know. Man City has still got a fair few injuries, most notably to Aguero, who I should have looked at. Was he injured before I put him as Premier League top goal scorer? It looks like he might be out for a while. But I'd say neither team have played particularly well this season, I don't think. They've not played to their full potentials. No. I still think we're going to get goals in this game. I've gone 2-2.
Okay.
So it's a little bit higher scoring than everyone else, but I feel it would be a good game for the neutral.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, I do hope for an Arsenal win, obviously, but just with the way that City have performed recently, I just think this is going to be the game where they turn up, and I think it'll be close, but I think they may have or too much for us. Right, moving on to the last game, Tottenham versus West Ham United. Ian, down to you.
Okay, well, before we get there, if you've got this far in the video, use the hashtag Everton are the best in the comments below.
Is anyone going to write that?
Yeah, of course they will.
That's not the truth.
But it's the truth. They're top of the Premier League, so they are the best.
Best team in Merseyside, mate.
They are 100%, and they will still be on top with an undefeated record next Monday. But we could see potentially the second debut of Gareth Bale in this game. I think potentially more likely to come off the bench. So that being said, they are on fire at the minute. They are scoring for fun. Harry Kane's playing that little bit of a deeper role, so I'm quite concerned about this game. That being said, this game, form goes out the window. You could be on a 10-match winning streak. It doesn't mean anything. I do think that Spurs will probably have a little bit too much for us in this game. But I have gone for 4-3 to Tottenham Hotspur. I think it will be a very competitive game, and I think there'll be a few big tackles. But I can see Gareth Bale coming off the bench to score like a 90th minute winner. So 4-3, yeah.
Mr. Bellerman.
I like Ian's thoughts, and I do agree with a lot of them. And I think it's going to be a very hard, or not hard, but a very hard-worn battle throughout the entire pitch. Say Spurs, they've been playing so well, and they've got more physical and a bit more of a bad attitude about them, you could say. And West Ham have been playing extremely well. They've been very organised, very hard to break down. So it's going to be a difficult game. I've gone for a less of a high-scoring match. I've gone for Spurs just to pit at 2-1.
That leaves one more result for you, doesn't it?
3-1 Spurs.
Confident.
Not much to add.
No, I do you know what? I have been really impressed with both Spurs and West Ham so far this season. It does pain me to say it a little bit, but I do think Spurs have recruited really well in the transfer window.
100%.
With the likes of Gareth Bale, it does scare me a little bit when it comes to the North London derbies this season. But I'm hoping that our recruits will be enough to nullify any kind of attacks that they bring, plus obviously outscoring them as well. Yeah, I do think Spurs will make mincemeat out of West Ham this week. I'm going to go for 3-1.
Mincemeat? Come on, you've backed us every game, even when...
Yeah.
And West Ham are above both Manchester clubs right now in the league.
We are. I think we should end the season there. You happy with that result?
Hang on, are we in the top 4 yet?
No. Well, whatever.
No, you're not.
Oh,
you're 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. End the season. We're at Liverpool, Phil. They're 5th.
It's I think this season is making for a bit more interesting stuff, especially I don't know about you guys. I like it when it's a close fought battle at both ends.
Yeah.
I would much rather see on the final day of the season, if you're in the top 7, you could win it, and if you're in the bottom 7, you could go down. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, so when a couple of seasons ago, when we almost took it to City, there was the last game of the season when there was us versus Wolves and Man City versus Brighton, and then Brighton went up and we're ahead. We were ahead. It was like, yes, we're winning. Yes, come on, give this. And then Man City beat Brighton after they collapsed, and all joy left my body.
For me personally, the last 2 seasons have been shit.
Yep.
Is that because you played utter dog turd, is it?
No. I'm only joking. I'm just trying to grind your gears, mate. I'm just trying to grind your gears. No, last. I think the season before last was possibly one of the most entertaining between the 2 top runners. But I do agree with what Ian's saying, is that it's so much more enjoyable with teams not running away with it so much. We need a few slip-ups and stuff, and
just need to close the gap, Mike. That's all.
You
need the Chelsea's, you need the Arsenal's and the Man United's.
I agree.
Spurs, and you just need teams to step up, which unfortunately they're taking their time.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, you look at the likes of Man United as well. How much of a dominant force they've been throughout the Premier League years. I've just as a little side note, sorry we've sidetracked a little bit, but Ollie's not going to be in that job much longer.
No, I think
three more defeats, he's gone. Or three more bad results.
I don't even think it's defeats. I think it's performances, because you think they were lucky against Brighton. They should have lost that 5-1, and then they got outclassed in every manner of that performance by Spurs. And I just it's horrendous, isn't it? They took off the only player who was effing and blinding because he weren't happy with what was going on at half time, because you can't do that. It's undermining Ollie. No, what do you mean? We're like 4-0, 4-1 down. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in kicking because I want to win. No one else is fuss, you know. I mean, as much as Bruno Fernandes does go down like someone shot him out the stands, like you got to admire his passion for wanting to win, regardless of who they're playing. He wants to win. They could be playing Solihull Moors, you know, like a friendly game, yet he's still gonna want to win 10-0. If he's not winning 10-0, I'm not happy. And I think every one of us wants a player like that in our squad. As long as he's not threatening people with "I earn more than you" when he doesn't. You know, that's how I think.
That's how the outplays.
Yeah, we don't talk about those things.
And the drive.
I just think it's funny. You should have looked up these facts and figures beforehand. Like,
he's a knob.
You'll never earn as much as me. I earn £10,000 more a week than you. What are you talking about?
Do you know what? I am really glad that he's gone.
Is he gone now?
Yeah, he's at Hertha Berlin.
Yes, alone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, well,
is he earning less there out there now?
Probably. Well, what I will say, unless anyone's got anything else to add before we wrap up, is we are available audio only. If you've made it this far, you probably don't want to listen to it again. It's the same thing, but we are available for next week, audio only, on Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Google Cast, whatever you want, wherever you consume your podcasts, we will be there. So just make sure to check us out, FDT-TV, and we're always about.
Sorry, I was just going to say you should be able to find if you go onto either mine or Ian's Twitter page. You should find links to our link tree, and all of the streaming services are available there.
Yep.
I would just like to say thank you very much for all your support as well that we've had so far. I know it's been a bit of a weird one over the last year, given the current circumstances. We do appreciate people that are coming along and watching our videos. We just started this. Not so much as that we didn't want to do anything with it, but we just wanted to come here and talk about football. And if people wanted to come along for the journey, then brilliant. And I think we are coming up to our 1-year birthday for FDT-TV. We're nearly at 100 videos.
I want to say it was yesterday.
Well, then happy birthday to us.
Off the top of my head, I may be wrong there.
And thank you for all those who are commenting, making those comments and producing your part. It's not the same when it's just three old and youngish men talking to each other, but we want some viewers' feedback and contributions. Yeah,
and some of the comments are absolutely slaying me. They're brilliant.
I need to give a shout out to this guy because his comments on the last couple of videos have been absolutely hilarious. Salsa Dancer, if you do watch this video, your comments are absolutely good and had us all in stitches, so we do appreciate them.
And just for you, next week we are doing a special on cricket.
and rugby.
And everything else.
I can do rugby.
But yeah, until then, we are FDT TV. I'm Ian.
I'm Mike.
I'm Phil.
And we will see you next week.
Thanks very much.